Good morning. Welcome to another weekly update. I hope you're doing well. Great week last week. Commsverse, first in-person conference for me for quite some time, and it was fantastic. It was great to catch up with everyone again. It was great to do some sessions. It was great to present a session. It was great to see all the sponsors. The buzz was amazing. The community feel was fantastic. Really enjoyed myself. Felt very safe as well. I know that's something that a lot of people have been worried about and a bit concerned about as we start to return to in-person conferences. You know, what is that experience actually like? I personally felt very safe. The work that had gone into making the event safe kind of was obvious and shone through. So big thanks to the event organisers for thinking about that stuff and considering it. So some of the things we're going to talk about this week are from Commsverse. I think that kind of makes sense. I would encourage you to check out the session content of that conference. All of the sessions are available on demand for free. So you can sign up and you can access all of that content. And I would encourage you to do so because there's some really great stuff in there, and there's a ton of session content I didn't get a chance to see in person that I really wanted to see, but I was just kind of too busy talking to people and kind of doing all the non-session side of things. So I would definitely, I'm going to be checking that stuff out. So definitely seems to make sense. I've done a couple of videos that you might be interested in checking out. So the first of these is I did like a pre-day, just covering my experience of getting there the day before. It's a great venue, and just looking around the venue and looking around the hotel before the conference actually started, and then the pre-event party as well was lots of fun as well. So I did a video about that, and then the other video I did was going to be two videos. And what happened was I did all this footage, and as Commsverse went on, I did less and less like me footage of like me commentating stuff, and when I reviewed all the footage over the weekend, I realized I didn't really like much of the commentary that I was doing. It didn't kind of feel like it was adding a ton of value, but what I did really like was all the B-roll footage I'd taken and all the kind of footage of the event itself. So what I decided to do instead was just make a montage video, just no commentary, just no narration, just all of like the B-roll footage that I had kind of cut together to music. So if that sounds like interesting, it's basically like most of Commsverse apart from all the session content, all of the networking stuff, all of the vendor stands, all of the events, the venue, the space, the food, all of that stuff. So if that sounds interesting, you can go and check that out. And yeah, you won't learn anything. But it's a good way of just kind of seeing what Commsverse was like as an attendee. So 2 videos that I did last week. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about was a blog post from the Microsoft Teams developer blog, and it's been kind of slow for news this week in terms of big announcements and stuff like that, but this did happen, so let's talk about this now. So this is for eDiscovery, and specifically it's when you're using the API to create a new case in eDiscovery. So what that means is from about now, so September the 22nd or shortly thereafter, which is a bit vague, because it's going to roll out across different, or like it has to roll out across different tenants. So actually the time when it really goes live for you is going to be a bit dependent, which is going to be a bit confusing. But what is going to happen is that when you use the create case API call, which is an API call you can use to create an eDiscovery case, it's going to be a large case format rather than the normal case type format. So what does this mean? Well, there's this new type of case type called large case, and it provides a ton more information and almost real detail into Microsoft Teams conversations. That's the bit you probably care about, right? It gives you like what they call a near native view of Microsoft Teams conversations. So this is the announcement. There is some detail in the documentation that's linked there. So you can see down here, you can see the columns you can choose when you're looking at this data in this particular investigation here. You can choose the date, the time, the recipients, you can see the actual messages and everything like that. So this is probably the level of detail that you would want from eDiscovery around Microsoft Teams. Yeah, so there's a lot of metadata here around whether or not the message was edited, the name of the conversation, the type of message it is, who the recipients were, the channel name it took place in, lots and lots of information, but that does need to be a large case type. So what is happening now is that, from around about the 22nd of September, or maybe afterwards, if you use the Microsoft Graph API to create a case, it is going to be a large case type. You know what I mean? All right. So that's happening. And really, that's the only kind of substantive piece of news I've found. There have been a couple of tweaks to the Microsoft Graph, some of the endpoints, nothing substantive, nothing worth really talking about in any great detail. One thing that I am doing this week, if we're looking at kind of what's upcoming this week, a couple of things to tell you about. So as kind of trailed on Twitter, I spoke with Mary Jo Foley last week for MJF Chat. So that was really good. That was really informative and really fun to do. And so you will see the output of that, I guess, coming soon at some point. So look out for that. And then coming up this week on Tuesday, I'm going to be talking at the Microsoft Teams Devices Ask Me Anything, which is run by Graham Walsh and is a kind of AMA for everything to do with Microsoft Teams devices. I'm going to be talking about Teams panels and specifically what you can do with Microsoft Teams apps for team panels. So there is a link. I'll put a link in the notes, and you can go check that out. And then you can register for that. It's free. It's happening at 5 p.m. UK time, which is 12 p.m. Eastern. And that is tomorrow. So, I'm going to be talking about Microsoft Teams apps for Teams panels and giving some examples of what you can do and how you can do it. So if that sounds like interesting, then you can come along to that as well. All right, I think that's everything from me for this week. Like I say, a nice short and sweet one. Everyone is relaxing and chilling out after Commsverse, I think. It's also time to start thinking about the next one. So in around about a month's time, we have South Coast Summit in the UK. That is coming up. That's much more Microsoft focused. It's not just Microsoft Teams. So that's Microsoft 365, it's Azure, it's a whole range of different things. So that should be really good as well. And so we're looking forward to that. And then there's also Comms v Next happening as well in the US. So conferences are picking up again, which is great. And also we also have the dates, and registration is open for Microsoft Ignite as well. Lots and lots of things happening in the conferencing space. So there's lots and plenty of things to get involved in. And with that, I will say have a great week and whatever it is you're doing. And I will talk to you again next time.